Most celebrities carefully think before they speak. Emilia Clarke does the exact opposite, and that's exactly why fans love her. Whether she's on a talk show, promoting a movie, or simply answering a question, Emilia always manages to create unforgettable moments without even trying. One of the funniest examples happened when she met Matt LeBlanc. Instead of playing it cool, Emilia immediately admitted she was nervous. Moments later, she was blushing in front of him while trying to explain how much she admired his work. And then there's her famous Chewbacca impression. While discussing Star Wars, Emilia confidently explained that most of Chewbacca's dialogue is basically just Wookiee sounds. Naturally, the interviewer challenged her to perform one. The result? A hilarious attempt that left everyone laughing, including Emilia herself, but awkward moments are where she truly shines. During an interview about Game of Thrones, Emilia encouraged viewers to watch a particular episode before joining the show. The host quickly reminded her that the episode contained several scenes featuring her. The moment she realized what she had just suggested, she completely lost composure. The audience loved it. That's the thing about Emilia Clarke. She never tries to be funny. She just is, and that's only the beginning. Emilia Clarke has never been afraid to share her opinions. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes not so much. During a rapid-fire interview, she was asked one of the most common music questions ever: the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Without hesitation, Emilia chose the Beatles, but she didn't stop there. When the interviewer mentioned that many people prefer the Rolling Stones, Emilia jokingly questioned their intelligence. The audience immediately burst into laughter. Her honesty becomes even more entertaining when she talks about her friends. While discussing Kit Harington, she revealed his secret dance move, a move he apparently performs everywhere. According to Emilia, it starts with a serious face, followed by a strange shoulder movement and a dramatic pose. She even demonstrated it herself, and somehow it was even funnier than expected. Then someone asked about Jason Momoa's dancing. Emilia tried to explain. A few seconds later, she was laughing too hard to finish the story. That's what makes her interviews so entertaining. No rehearsed answers, no media training, just Emilia saying whatever comes to mind. And fans wouldn't have it any other way. Some actors can hide their emotions. Emilia Clarke definitely cannot. In fact, her facial expressions have become almost as famous as her acting career. When interviewers ask difficult questions, she often doesn't even need words. Her face does all the work. One interviewer asked how she felt after reading the final Game of Thrones script. Before answering, Emilia made a face that instantly told everyone exactly how emotional the ending was. The audience erupted. Another time, she was asked whether she was happy with the way the series ended. Her answer was simple: yes, but her expression suggested there was much more going on inside her head. Even the interviewer noticed the moment became instantly memorable. Then came one of her biggest confessions. When asked whether she had watched House of the Dragon, Emilia admitted she hadn't, not because she disliked it, because it felt strange. She compared it to attending a school reunion from a class that wasn't even hers. The comparison was so random and so accurate that fans couldn't stop talking about it. Only Emilia Clarke could explain something that way and somehow make perfect sense. If you really want to see the real Emilia Clarke, put her in front of a lie detector. That's exactly what happened, and it quickly became chaos. The questions started simple. Was her Italian better than her Dothraki? Emilia admitted that she barely remembered any Dothraki after years of filming Game of Thrones. The interviewer then asked her to say something meaningful in the language. Instead, she revealed a surprising truth. Most of what she remembered was simply lines from the script, years of speaking Dothraki, and only a handful of phrases remained. The honesty made the entire room laugh. Things became even funnier when questions shifted toward other actors. Not even Will Ferrell escaped. When asked if she had taken inspiration from him, Emilia gave an answer that immediately raised suspicion. The lie detector wasn't convinced, neither was anyone else. By the end of the test, Emilia was laughing harder than the audience, and that's usually how her interviews end. Not with polished celebrity answers, but with complete, hilarious chaos. If there's one thing more dangerous than a live interview, it's putting Emilia Clarke in front of a lie detector. What started as a fun challenge quickly turned into one of her funniest interviews ever. The questions seemed harmless at first. The interviewer asked whether her Italian was better than her Dothraki. Emilia paused for a moment before admitting something fans never expected to hear. After spending years speaking Dothraki on Game of Thrones, she barely remembered any of it. The interviewer couldn't believe it. How do you spend nearly a decade speaking a fictional language and forget almost everything? Emilia's answer was simple. Most of what she remembered came directly from the scripts. Without the scripts, she was lost. To prove it, she tried recalling a few phrases. After several seconds of thinking, she managed to remember only a couple of lines. The audience erupted with laughter. Years of dragons, battles, and epic speeches, and this was all that remained. The lie detector didn't make things any easier. The questions kept getting more personal. Some focused on her career, others focused on her co-stars, and every answer seemed to create a new, hilarious moment. At one point, Emilia looked completely defeated, not because the questions were difficult, because she knew the machine wasn't going to let her get away with anything. Every time she tried to give a clever answer, the interviewer pushed even further. The result was pure comedy. Even Emilia couldn't stop laughing at herself. The best part? She wasn't trying to be funny, she was simply being honest, and somehow, that made everything 10 times funnier. By the end of the test, the audience learned something important. Emilia Clarke might be capable of surviving dragons, White Walkers, and the Iron Throne, but surviving a lie detector, that's a completely different challenge. Some friendships in Hollywood feel staged. The friendship between Emilia Clarke and Jason Momoa definitely isn't one of them. From the moment they met, it was complete chaos. According to Emilia, she had just arrived in Belfast, for Game of Thrones. It was late at night. She was exhausted from traveling, carrying her bags through a hotel lobby and looking forward to finally getting some rest. Then suddenly, she heard someone yelling her name from the other side of the room. Before she could even react, a giant Hawaiian man came running toward her. That man was Jason Momoa, and instead of introducing himself normally, he launched into one of the most energetic greetings imaginable. Jason picked her up off the ground and practically tackled her in the middle of the hotel lobby. For a brief moment, Emilia had absolutely no idea what was happening. She later joked that she didn't even know who he was yet. Imagine meeting someone for the first time and immediately getting rugby tackled by only Jason Momoa could pull that off. Surprisingly, that wild first meeting became the start of one of the strongest friendships in Hollywood. Over the years, the two remained incredibly close. Every time they appeared together at events, interviews, or award shows, their chemistry was impossible to ignore. They constantly joked with each other. They laughed at each other's stories, and they never missed an opportunity to embarrass one another. Fans loved every second of it. In one interview, Emilia admitted that whenever Jason visits England, they always try to meet up. Their friendship never changed. Even after Game of Thrones ended years later, they still talk about each other like siblings. And as fans know, siblings never stop teasing each other. One of the funniest examples came when Emilia revealed a behind-the-scenes secret from one of their earliest scenes together. Filming wasn't exactly easy. The scenes were serious. The atmosphere on set was often intense, but Jason had a way of making everyone. According to Emilia, during one particularly awkward filming day, Jason decided to replace a standard costume item with something much more ridiculous, a giant fluffy pink accessory. Nobody expected it, especially Emilia. The moment she noticed it, all professionalism disappeared. Instead of focusing on the scene, everyone started laughing. Even years later, Emilia still couldn't tell the story without laughing. Game of Thrones delivered dragons, battles, shocking twists, and unforgettable characters. But somehow, one of the biggest stories from the show's final season wasn't about any of those things. It was about a coffee cup, a simple coffee cup. Fans spotted it almost immediately. During a major scene featuring Daenerys Targaryen and several important characters, viewers noticed what appeared to be a modern takeaway coffee cup sitting on the table. Within hours, screenshots flooded social media, memes were everywhere. News outlets started covering the mistake. And suddenly, the most expensive fantasy series in television history was being overshadowed by a cup of coffee. Naturally, fans wanted answers. Who left it there? How did nobody notice? And most importantly, whose coffee was it? For a while, many people jokingly blamed Emilia Clarke. After all, the cup appeared near her position in the scene. The internet quickly decided that Daenerys Targaryen had apparently stopped conquering kingdoms and started ordering coffee. The jokes never ended. Every interview seemed to include questions about the infamous cup, and Emilia found herself becoming the unofficial suspect. Then something unexpected happened. Years later, during an event, one of her co-stars pulled her aside. He had a confession, a very important confession. According to Emilia, he told her he needed to reveal the truth. The coffee cup wasn't hers, it was his. For years, Emilia had taken the blame, while the real owner remained silent. Now the mystery finally had an answer. When she heard the confession, Emilia couldn't believe it. She had spent years defending herself, years watching people point fingers, and all along, someone else was responsible. The revelation immediately became another hilarious story in the long history of Game of Thrones behind-the-scenes moments. Of course, by that point, fans didn't really care who owned the cup anymore. The coffee cup had already become legendary. It had earned its place in television history, and somehow, a tiny production mistake became one of the most talked about moments of the entire series. Even today, people still remember it, not because it ruined the scene, but because it reminded everyone that even the biggest productions in the world can make surprisingly human mistakes. And thanks to Emilia Clarke's storytelling, the mystery became even funnier than the mistake itself. After years in the spotlight, Emilia Clarke has given fans countless unforgettable moments. Some came from blockbuster movies, some came from Game of Thrones, but many of the funniest moments happened when she was simply being herself. Whether she was accidentally embarrassing herself in interviews, making strange impressions, revealing behind-the-scenes secrets, or laughing at her own mistakes, Emilia never tried to create viral moments. They just happened naturally. One of the best examples came when she shared a story about her mother visiting the Star Wars set. Most parents would probably take a few photos and enjoy the experience, not Emilia's mother. Instead, she somehow managed to make friends with people connected to Star Wars merchandise. Before Emilia knew it, her mother had access to exclusive items that fans around the world hadn't even seen yet. And according to Emilia, her mother thought it would be hilarious to fill her room with them. The audience couldn't stop laughing. But that's what makes Emilia's stories so entertaining. No matter how famous she becomes, her life somehow keeps producing ridiculous situations. Even something as simple as her name has become a joke during interviews. Hosts have teased her, co-stars have laughed about it, and Emilia always joins in. She never takes herself too seriously. That's a rare quality in Hollywood. Then there was the unforgettable eyebrow challenge, a competition that absolutely nobody asked for, yet somehow became one of the funniest moments of the entire interview. As Emilia and her fellow guest attempted to outdo each other using only facial expressions, the audience completely lost it. The result was pure chaos. And somehow, Emilia's eyebrows seemed to have a personality of their own. Even late-night hosts struggled to keep a straight face around her. Whether she's playing games, answering questions, or trying to explain one of her bizarre stories, things things almost always end in laughter. That's because Emilia has something many celebrities spend years trying to create: authenticity. She doesn't sound rehearsed, she doesn't sound scripted, and she certainly doesn't sound filtered. What you see is exactly what you get: a talented actress with a great sense of humor and absolutely no fear of laughing at herself. And maybe that's why fans continue to love her. Not because she's perfect, but because she's real. From awkward interviews and hilarious impressions to unforgettable friendships and behind-the-scenes secrets, Emilia Clarke has proven time and time again that she's one of the most entertaining personalities in Hollywood. And judging by her track record, she's probably already creating her next viral moment. Which Emilia Clarke moment was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more celebrity moments, behind-the-scenes stories, and unforgettable Hollywood highlights.